Freaking talking to myself. I'm muted. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is a very, very special pop up stream that I'm doing. And I am very, very, very happy and honored and glad to have a special guest. Let me bring him up here. There we go. And we have Usama with us. There he is. On the Usama cam. There we go. So with this special stream, a long time ago, I won a low iron rimless tank from the morning aquatic morning show, and I haven't used it. It's still in the original wrapper and everything, and now I have a place to put it. And I suck at aquascaping. However, Usama is a professional. And I asked him if he would mind coming over to help scape it. And I have some other supplies. I got everything pre-staged. We have quite a bit of stuff to pick from. And so, yeah. So I am going to mute this one, and I'm going to make that one big. Let's see here if I can figure this out. Do it that way. Actually, I should make it solo. There we go. All right, and I'm going to now that I got it started, I'm going to go downstairs to where he is.
So, two things.
All right.
One, this is leaning forward a lot. It is not leveled this way.
All right. So I got some shims.
Yep. So this needs to be, the front side needs to be lifted up. Because this way it's perfectly fine. This way it's not.
All right. How much?
So I can actually lift it for
All right.
you. So right there. How's that?
You need more?
I need more.
Yeah.
It's almost there, but I need more.
Like this. Okay. Lift more. Just want to get these in. There you go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So now that we are in here, can I get an audio check as well, please? Can you hear us? Welcome in Jenna, Skettinona, Diane, Frogs Fisher Moore, Nathan Hovey, the wonderful Cosmin. Okay. All right. Thank you, Diane. So for those just joining, this is a low iron rimless tank. Does it say what brand it is, Usama?
It did. It is a SR Aquaristic tank.
SR Aquaristic. I got it from the Aquatic Morning Show, sponsored by, I forget her name. She hasn't been on in a very long time.
Oh, you have two?
I think I got two.
Oh,
In case you want one for this other tank.
gotcha.
Victoria Lee. Thank you, Jenna. So yeah, that's what we're going to be setting up in here. This is going to be a display tank, not necessarily for breeding or anything like that. I just want it to really look nice. And based on my scape skills, I can't do that. Welcome in Shady Grady and Emma. So nice to see you, Emma. I haven't seen you in chat in a while. Hope you're doing well.
Alright. Can I get some paper towels to dampen so I can wipe this down?
Okay.
A big thing with brand new tanks is you want to rinse them actually because of time. I'm not really going to wash it down too much, but sometimes with brand new tanks from the factory when they're being made, it can have an oily layer on it or just dust and things like that. So you just want to give it a quick rinse. Dean from Dean's Fish actually says to use Dawn's dish soap because it is actually animal friendly. So you can use that to wash it down and then rinse it really well and let it air dry. But for today, just going to use a damp paper towel and just wipe it down on the inside and on the outside. So that way we get a nice crystal clear view. I try to get the sticker off and there's still some left. So I just moved it to the back.
That works. Good spot to put a plant.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the room that we're in is my downstairs spare bedroom. In this room and down the road I'll show more of it. But in this room is where I'm going to have my display tanks. So to the right of where Usama is a 46 bow front, which you've seen in the past. In here I have Battis, which I did not know I still had them alive, but they are in here, thank God. At least one. My Hillstream loaches, I have confirmed that all three of them are alive, and they're in here. I also got their Platy's Sun-Kissed, I believe it is. Platies are in here. And a pair of half-beaks as well.
That scared the living daylights out of me.
So they are all in this tank. And then to the right of that one, I have a 14-gallon Aqueon. They call it rimless because it's missing the top rim, but it does have a bottom one, which will also be a display tank. So, and as you can see, there's a stool right immediately to the right of Usama. That would be the perfect spot for one more tank as well. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen there. And if we can do some work with the 14 Aqueon and the 46, great. If we run out of time, no big deal. The Aqueon is already established and has quite a bit of plants in it growing. But it could use a makeover, and the 46 definitely could as well. But we'll see what happens.
Who in their right mind puts tape on the inside of a tank?
It wasn't me. I can assure you of that.
I'm sure it wasn't you, but
I never even touched the tank on the inside. In this room is also my old recliner that I used to sit in when I was streaming at the apartment, and a treadmill that I just got as well. I'm also going to keep my immersed bin in here, at least the small one, for now, until I get more outlets downstairs, which I'll talk more about that in my stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. In preparation for this, I did get about, what do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about 5 or 6 gallons of water that I already treated as well with dechlorinator, and it sat for a little bit. And I have some fish and plants and supplies that are ready to go for Usama. Right behind him is my little snack table that has the aquascaping tools that I have and stuff like that. Based on his recommendation from his stream yesterday, I purchased a micro nano, I guess it is actually, hang on the back filter. I actually got 2 of them in case we decide to put one on the 14-gallon as well. And they were really cheap. Hopefully they work. And then I got some lights to set up in here as well. Last night I ran the power strip and extension cord for in here. And I also have an air pump in here, a multi-discharge air pump as well. So we are set to go for in here. And I'm looking forward to having some display tanks with some cool fish.
There we go. Okay.
And Usama has already done more to this tank than what I would ever do.
All right, finally got that thingy out. All right.
This tank came with a leveling mat.
Yep, that little white thing is just a little foam leveling mat, which is good because if there's any even small debris underneath here, it causes a pressure point. And when we put all the substrate, the rock, the water, just that little pressure point can cause a crack. So that's why it's very important to have some form of cushion underneath the tank. Doesn't hurt at all. Cool.
Okay. All right. I should go get you some sand as well.
Yes, I'm going to start with the fluval stratum.
Okay. And I do have more of this as well.
Yeah, I saw.
And there is a little scooper in there.
I think it should be good. If not, then I saw the bag downstairs too.
Yeah, I got that bag downstairs, and there is a couple of bigger rocks in here because you had mentioned you wanted to do something like that in there. And then there's some rocks in there as well.
Sweet.
Whatever we don't use rock-wise, we're going to put in the 46 for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me go get you some sand.
All right, let's see what we got here. So my goal is so on the back area is going to be aquarium soil, fluval stratum. Fluval stratum is a great soil. It's affordable if you're getting into planet aquariums. I actually used fluval stratum when I first got into planet tanks. I mean, I use Tropica soil now, but fluval stratum is definitely a great soil. So the back area is going to be fluval stratum. I'm going to have some rocks, placed around here with some wood, probably in this corner right here. I have to see what kind of wood I have to play with. And then the back is going to be lifted up quite significantly in case if we decide to put some stem plants in there. I want to make sure there's enough room for the roots to grow and be healthy. And then there'll be pebbles, rocks around this area. And then on the front is just going to be a not too thick, just a thin layer of cosmetic sand. And in that area, if we need to, if Scotty wants, we can put some epiphyte plants. But most of the planted plants, like the stem plants, are going to be in the back there in the soil. So first thing what I want to do is I want to figure out where the hardscape's going before I put the soil, because the rocks are going to work as a barrier to keep the soil out of the sand. Sometimes you'll get sand, come into the soil come into the sand. You can easily just siphon that out, but let's see here. Ooh, there we go. Now we're talking.
And I got a whole bag of Kiwi fluoride.
Sweet. I think that should be enough because I'm not going to do a big layer of sand.
And if you need, like, if you want to take rock out of either, or rocks or driftwood out of either of these two, that's perfectly fine.
Sweet. I did find one piece that I would like to use. I'm just trying to rinse it out a little bit. And then use that. Kind of keep it from dripping water everywhere. So let's see here. Right now I'm just going to plop them in, see what we have, and finesse with them a little bit. See what looks nice.
Cosman says, bare bottom with a pair of Killies, one mop, tape a plastic bag on top as a cover, and call it a day. That is what I usually do.
That is reserved, Cosman. That is reserved for his fish room. This is going to be a beautiful display tank for his living area. He's got plenty of those downstairs. I don't think he needs any more.
There's no such thing as plenty.
That is true. That is very true. Do you have any more of that rock?
No,
That's like
not that style. No. Unless it's in a tank already, which I don't think so.
That's fine.
Or it would be in that bucket.
Yeah. Okay, let me take that off for a moment. Da-da, da-da-da.
Diane says, how many gallons is the tank and does it have a lid? I believe we determined it's 7 point
7 point something.
7.4, I think. 7 point something. It does not have a lid. However, I am probably going to put something on top of it just to help keep the humidity down and stuff like that.
And I'm sure since it's a SR aquaristic
Mm-hmm.
tank, I'm sure they might have lids that you can
Oh,
get
cool.
to. Not entirely sure, but I believe so.
And if not, I can make one as well.
Glass.
Yeah, which is something I'm going to be doing for a lot of the tanks anyway.
Some small pieces. It's too dark though. Don't be afraid to play around. Put things. You don't want to overthink it, but
Are you going to need glue? Yeah, okay, good.
I don't think we need glue. Because the wood is already waterlogged. If I do decide to use wood, which most likely I will, it's already waterlogged, so it's not going to float or anything.
Zenny's here. Welcome in, Zen.
Hey, Zen Ginger.
Is that a tile on the bottom of that tank, or the way it's made? No, that is a leveling mat. It's kind of like a yoga mat. It came with it. Zen, you may remember this is the tank that I won on the Aquatic Morning Show from Victoria Lee. It's an SR Aquaristic, 7 point something gallon, low iron, rimless tank. and Usama is here scaping it for me because I suck at scaping, and he is a pro at it.
Huh. I wouldn't say pro, but my goal is to set it in a way that then Scotty can get some inspiration and try setting one up for himself.
Oh, Lord.
Because if you've ever escaped a tank, you know there's a sense of satisfaction when you set it up and then enjoy it.
I have never experienced that.
That's the thing. When once you do set up.
Oh no, I've tried. And Jenna, I am here to help get materials and equipment, whatever he may need, and water and anything like that.
Emotional support.
Would you like some sweet tea? I know you don't drink soda, but I got sweet tea and I got water.
Water.
I will get you a water.
Thank you. So I have no set plan of what I'm doing. I am just playing with what Scotty has provided me. I'm also looking at some of the tanks he has set up to see. A lot of the wood that he does have is really big, which is cool, but definitely not appropriate for this size of tank. You want to make sure the stuff you're putting in, like hardscape wise or whatever, makes sense size wise, like the proportions are right. Like, for example, if you're working with aquarium soil, if you're working on a nano scape, instead of using regular aquarium soil, which could be big grain granule size, a lot of companies like Tropica has made what they call aquarium soil powder, which is the same thing, it's just smaller grain size, and it's really great for nanoscapes because it just makes sense proportion wise. But for this size tank, the Fugel stratum should just be fine. Plus, it's going to be hidden away anyway.
Jenna doesn't believe I'm here.
Jenna, he's here.
Hi, Jenna.
You trust me. I can assure you he's here.
And Zen says, I'm Usama's emotional support Scotty. Yes, that is me.
Yep.
And Usama, there is some smaller pieces of wood in this tank.
There is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was just wood with rocket.
There's two, and then there's one in the back.
Ah.
Jenna says, tell Usama that there may be a parrot at the clash. Doesn't he love birds? Yes.
I do love birds. I heard parrot. I'm very excited. Yeah, I used to keep parakeets, finches, chickens, and I bred parakeets as well. So definitely have a soft spot for birds.
I bred finches.
Yep, I tried to breed finches. My uncle, I got my love for birds from my uncle. He was an avid aviarist, and he kept a wide variety of birds at the house when I was living overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And he bred a lot of finches. I just kept the Australian zebra finches.
Yeah.
And they laid eggs, but they never hatched. But with the parakeets, they did perfectly fine.
I had a parakeet. I had a cockatiel. I never bred them. I had a Moluccan cockatoo, an African gray parrot, and I want to say an umbrella cockatoo as well.
Nice.
Cosma says, how far am I from Green Bank Aquarium? I am pretty close. I would say probably 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I have not been there in years, to be honest with you.
Road trip.
Yeah. However, I heard that he is actually trying to sell the business. I forget who told me that. Where did I hear that?
Where is it, in Delaware?
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes from here.
Oh.
It's a pretty small place, but I believe his goal is to go down to Florida, which he spends a lot of time there already.
Yeah. Do you have any piece of wood small but looks like a trunk?
Like more of a round?
Like something I could put in the corner that almost looks like a tree trunk root type thing.
How about that piece right there?
This one right here?
No, in front of it.
What is that?
I don't know. It's wood. What do you mean?
It's small.
Okay, well.
Hang on, what's this? Is that the is that what you got from me once, or?
Probably.
Let's use that because it really is a pass on it.
There you go.
Let's try working with it. It's got some
I'm gonna
moss.
get you a paper towel so you can carry it over there.
Yeah.
Or better yet, here.
How about
Bucket.
I'll grab that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this. So we got a wood here that's got Anubias and then moss. Looks like it's got moss on here. Maybe not.
Cosman says he has blackworms for $3 a level tablespoon, and sometimes I go there for those works. Oh, good to know, Cosman. I'll go again. Greenbank says it. I'm gonna have to go there.
Interesting. I'm liking that for some reason. Input, Scotty. What do you think?
I love it.
I'm gonna
You don't like it with that wood, is what you're saying?
with this? No, it doesn't feel right.
Okay.
But that, for some reason, who is calling? For that, it looks. I'm gonna keep it like that for now.
Okay.
And then if we want to add something in later, we can. I'm gonna just pop this in here. Yeah.
Drop it down. You can fix it later.
And what does chat think so far? It's kind of hard to see, but.
Zen says, is it by chance a hyacinth McCall? Those are my absolute favorite. Or just standard issue parrot. What is a standard issue parrot? It's Shady Grady's parrot that he may be bringing. He didn't say what type.
I mean, a parrot is a broad term of a group of birds from
That's true.
a parakeet all the way up to a freaking cockatoo macaw.
So I can try to.
Yeah, take this phone call real quick.
All right.
Right back.
Sure. Meanwhile, I'm going to zoom in with this. There you go. So that is what he has done so far. And next to it, here's the 46. It needs a lot of attention. And then next to it is the 14, which needs a lot of attention as well. And we gotta get some lights on these two. There we go. That looks better. Let's see here. And Shady says it's a Bubbles is a blue-fronted Amazon. Bubbles is the portable size. So the parrot is Shady Grady's Usama, and it is a blue-fronted Amazon, and he believes you've seen it in his videos.
Oh, that parrot.
Mm-hmm.
I know, now I know who's it. Now I know. Oh, that's exciting.
And Zenny says, I guess I consider the green and yellow wild ones that you saw on pirate shoulders and fly all over Hawaii and other tropical locations to be the standard issue.
I mean, macaws have been popularized as being the parrots on
Yes.
pirate shoulders. It was either the macaws or the conure parrots that you can sometimes see at PetSmart.
Mm-hmm.
The green ones with the gray chin. Those are also have been used for pirate companions.
And Steven's here. Welcome, Steven. And he's like the ones that speak perfect English.
Okay, so I'm just going to temporarily take this wood out. Now that I know I'm going to use this, I'm going to put these rocks back in here. And then Scotty can use them to put them somewhere else.
Cool.
And now I'm going to start with putting soil in the back here. And hopefully it'll be enough where I can slope it up and it should be fine. Because that's why I try to use larger pieces to give it some height, which I think we should be okay. Because I can keep it high on this end, and if it's shallower on this end, that's totally fine. Okay.
Zenny says that Gina has a conure. And Shady says she's the type that you imagine a pirate having on his shoulder. She's the same size as an African gray, which I used to have.
There you go.
Jenna is saying that Steven smells like he made coffee.
Where's my cup, Steve? I haven't had coffee yet. So I'm just dumping this in, and then I have a little tool here that Scotty gave me to level it out a little better. So yeah, this is just your regular flugel strata. Comes in two sizes. This is, I think, what the
I don't know.
8-pound bag. There's also a 17-pound bag. Let me level it out now. Usually you want to slope it to the back a little bit because a lot of your taller plants have the longer roots and they need the more space, and it gives you a forced perspective, so it makes it look like it continues on more backward.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Shady says that Bubbles is friendly with everybody. The only people I warn are little children because their fingers look like French fries. I like French fries. She's around people all the time at different places like the community center. Wow, that's awesome.
Great. Exciting.
Shady says Bubbles used to spend all day with my son at preschool, so she was around kids all the time. Wow. She's pretty good. She just talks a lot, but she's not a screamer like some birds. That's good.
Yeah. That's the thing with me is like I love like the larger species of parrots, like the macaws, cockatoos, and whatnot, but some can be a little too verbal.
Yes.
And it can get really annoying. Yeah, if and whenever I get back into keeping birds, I want to get cockatiels. They've been a dream bird of mine. They're definitely expensive for sure. They're like in the $100 range.
Oh yeah.
But they are very social. They're very personable. Like they love to snuggle up on you. And they're obviously more affordable than your larger parrots.
Oh yeah, they're like $1,000.
Oh yeah. And so I definitely want to get cockatiels for sure. So I'm just playing with the soil level, seeing how high I can get it. I just don't really, because I'm starting to reach to like these areas right here where it can spill over. So I want to try. So I'm just trying to test my limit of how high I can bring it. But my main thing is to make sure at least the back area, like around this area, is tall enough that I can get some of the stems in there, and they'll be fine. Some of the plants that I'm thinking are, and I would love to get the chat's opinion as well as Scotty. So some Ratala in there as a transition plant around here. Maybe some of the Sturgeon repens. I know I gave Scotty a Bucephalandra needle leaf, so you can attach that to, or basically like shove it in like that area over there. And it'll allow you to put some epiphytes in there if you have like the smaller species of Anubias as well.
Yep, I do actually.
Yeah, so we can definitely like put those, put like basically put epiphytes in like there and there. It'll allow you to get like some nice transition into some Sturgeon repens, maybe a little clutch over here, and then just a nice stem plants in the back.
Cool. And Shady Gray says Bubbles is just over 10 years old and she is worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Because of that, I have to be very careful if someone doesn't walk away with her because she'll go with anyone. She is funny if someone takes her and walks away from me and she wants to come back. She yells, "Dad, Dad, oh wow," over and over again. That's amazing.
Yeah. Parrots. I mean, you gotta understand, like, most of the birds that you'll get in like pet stores or like bird specialty stores, for the most part, are bred in human care. So they're not collected from the wild, but you do end up getting some collected from the wild. But because of the fact that they're so valuable, there is a huge issue with the black market. So you're getting a lot of illegal collections from it and things like that.
Oh wow.
Which is very saddening. But yeah. Okay, so I think that should be good enough. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna use the whole bag. Why not?
Sounds good.
And then once I get the soil in, I can then put in the cosmetic sand, which is that rinsed or?
I'm supposed to rinse it?
I was just wondering if it's rinsed.
No.
Okay.
Zenny says, would a dwarf aquarium lily or red tiger lotus grow too large and shaded out? Because I bet that would be pretty otherwise.
Actually, it would actually work. You can definitely put like a aquarium red tiger lotus in here, or a dwarf aquarium lily, and as it grows up to the water surface, if you continuously trim it, apparently you were able to train it to stay low.
Oh, wow.
Because it starts to learn that, oh, if I bring my leaves all the way up, they're gonna get trimmed off, and so it starts to just keep the leaves closer to the bottom, and you can train it so that it doesn't grow all the way up and it just stays in the water column. If you just let it come up to the water surface and let the pads or the leaves grow out, then yeah, they're definitely going to shade it. But you can definitely train it to keep it down. You just, whenever you see like a large shoot go up to the water surface, just reach down to the base and then use your nail or aquarium scissors and just cut it off. And you're perfectly fine. And that'll actually promote it to grow more leaves.
Oh, wow.
So that was a lot of powdery stuff, which means when I fill it with water, it's going to cloud up the water, but that's fine. That's why we got the hang-on bag, so it'll clear it out, hopefully. That bag's trash unless you want to use it.
No. Well, I'll use it for trash.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got cosmetic sand. What is this, pool filter sand, you said?
Yeah, it's pool filter sand.
So pretty cheap stuff. Keep in mind, sand is inert, which means it has no nutritional value. So if you plant stuff in sand, especially heavy root feeders, you do have to supplement the sand with nutrition capsules so that the plants are getting the nutrients they need.
Should I go get some?
No, we should be fine because most of the plants are going to be planted in the aquarium substrate, and that already has the nutrients that we need.
Right.
It's just that when the soil gets really old, like usually I say once it's about a year old or longer, it'll start to lose its nutritional value, and then you want to just supplement with some tabs in there. So I'm just going to dump it in. I'm not going to put too much because I don't want it to be too big of a layer, and then I can use that leveling tool to just spread it out to where I need it to be.
Shady wants to know, Usama, why are you placing all the hardscape in the center of the tank? Is it because it's so low to the ground?
What do you mean?
He's wondering why you put everything in the center, the rocks.
Like in this area?
Yeah.
So I'm using the rocks as a barrier to keep the soil away from the sand at the front. And once I plant epiphytes and things like that in there, it's going to almost be like a trend. It's going to allow for me to plant transition plants. So there's going to be no plants in this area right here. It's just going to be a thin layer of cosmetic sand. And then in like these grooves over here, I'm going to put some epiphytes. And then it's just going to transition into the heavily planted area in the back here. There's going to be a little piece of wood here as well, which is right here. I just took it out for now. But it's going to be like propped right over there just to give it a little bit more texture. So it's not just pebbles or rocks in there. But that's mainly what it is. I'm keeping it as a barrier. And usually if you're doing a scape similar to this, you would do that where you would get rocks basically as a barrier. So if you, I don't know how well you can see, but it's keeping the soil out. So there's no soil creeping in around here or in these corners here. So it's doing its job. But my goal was to not make it just like a straight line. That's why I added some pebbles in the front here to kind of break that line a little bit. But you can easily like start from here and go to that corner there. And, whichever way you want to do it, you want to put your hardscape in a way where it's directing, it's basically the rule of thirds, and you want it so, like, for example, if we're viewing the scape from this side, I can just plant the back any way I want. If the tank was, well, I can't really move it now, but if it was being viewed from this side basically, then a lot of it would be coming from the corner out, if that makes sense. So I would basically take this line and then just do it like that and plant the plants in this area, the sand substrate in that area. Things like that. Or if, let's say, the main front side is this, but you have it so if Scotty was sitting next to it, and he's looking it from the side, basically, you would still use that corner and use the rule of thirds to basically make almost like a triangle shape, as what George Farmer usually calls it. A lot of my knowledge of aquascaping comes from George. George and Jen Williams both. I've learned quite a lot from them. So, you know, I always give those people credit where it's due for what I teach or demonstrate. So now I'm going to just use the leveling tool, just spread it out a little bit, just to see how much of a layer it is. I'm going to try and get it into those little cracks and crevices. Very interesting textured sand. Because it definitely looks damp. It doesn't feel damp though. Actually, no, it does feel damp.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not dry for sure.
This is probably the same. I know it came from the same store, but probably the same sand that was used in the 2023 aquascaping contest.
Oh, nice. So this was the sand that was offered for people to use?
Yeah, that's the store that I went to the other day to buy this.
Gotcha.
It's the same store that I got it for 2023.
Are you guys going to use the same thing for this year's contest?
Not determined yet.
Gotcha. So I'm just kind of leveling it out a little bit. Hopefully once we fill it up with water, the sand will be a little more easier to work with. But for now I'm just getting it so I can get an idea of how it's looking. So I'm going to put more sand in that area over there. Let's see here. Yeah, a little too much, but that's fine. So with the sand, I don't want it like creeping up, like shifting it up like I did with the sand. It's just a level layer of sand, and I may have put a bit too much, but that's totally fine. But I do like the coloration of it. It's not like, because some pool filter sand is like white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
this is more of a tan.
This is more of a natural color, basically, which I like.
And I like the contrast between the stratum and the sand.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the stratum is going to be covered by plants anyway, so you're mainly going to be seeing the sand, but that's totally fine.
Usama has a lot more patience than me. I'd just be dumping the whole bucket in.
Nope. Aquascaping is an art, my friend.
I'm not an artist.
Gotta take your time, play around with it, immerse yourself. It's therapeutic after all. Gets your mind off of things, so all you're focusing on is the piece of living art that you're making in a glass cube. Which is why I enjoy aquascaping. It's definitely enjoyable and fun. Now, there's so many ways you can go about it. There's no one particular way. There are different styles of aquascaping. This type of style that I'm kind of doing is the naturescape, the nature style. But there's Iwagumi, there's Dutch aquascaping. Sometimes there's even combination where you've got nature / Iwagumi or vice versa. You've got Fowler, which is just rock and hardscape and no plants or anything. Maybe like a little layer of substrate. Usually people do that for cichlids, things like that don't really warrant or don't do well within planted tanks. But according to George Farmer, Lake Tanganyikan cichlids do well with Anubias.
Oh wow!
Apparently they leave the Anubias alone because it's like thick. It's really thick, so it's not really something they want to eat. Because he has a tank in his home that he set up excuse me, an Oase high. Oh, I can't speak. Oase High Line, which they no longer make, but it's the Peninsula one, and he set that up as a Lake Tanganyika, and he has like the lemon cichlids.
Oh wow.
In there with just a lot of anubias, and they're doing perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got the sand in, perfect, which means planting time.
So you have this bag of options, or anything in these tanks, or if you want to dig into the immersed bin, but that would require transitioning and such.
So the Rotala macrandra, I would recommend you plant in your immersed setup because this is advanced category, so it's not going to do well here.
Okay.
Oh, water slide, cool. This is what I wanted. So this is the Tropica tissue culture Sturgeon repens.
And by the way, everyone, all these, or not all the plants, but a lot of these plants are from Atlantic aquariums. If a mod could please drop that link.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the shout out.
And then some of the other plants are from the ACLC meeting and auction on Saturday. And then if Usama wants to use any of the plants from any of the tanks, that's fine.
This is the mid
From you,
40s.
yeah.
This would look good in there.
Okay.
In like a large setup.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the? What do you have in your immersed setup? Do you have Rotala in there?
It's right there. It's in that bin under the chair. I haven't opened it in 3 weeks, so I don't remember.
Well, let's take a look at it. So let me pop the light on it as well, because I want to see what it's looking like with the light. Scotty, would you like to help plug this in?
Sure. And I'm probably ultimately going to put this to a Casa timer.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, nice.
I like it.
Wow.
I like it. So now you guys can actually, hopefully, in on stream, kind of see what it looks like.
That's
but
awesome.
Hang on, let me move this out of the way. It's obviously going to look different once it's covered. Once it's filled with water, the rock is going to probably look darker. Usually, if you take a spray bottle and spray it down, you'll get an idea of what it's going to look like. But yeah, definitely liking it. And then if I plop this in there.
Shady Grady says, too bad you didn't live closer to Massachusetts, Scotty. My aquarium club, the South Coast Tropical Fish Society, is giving away a professionally designed and built fish room for free this month. Oh my
What?
God.
Where?
Wow.
Where?
Massachusetts.
I'm going there.
Right.
Shady.
Alshon's here. Welcome in, Tom. And he's using some scientific name. Lemon cichlids are a predator and would not eat plants anyway. They might move them around to make a nest in the rocks. Cool.
Mm.
I know over in this tank there's some cryptocorns. I think there's a Java fern in there. I think there's a Java fern in the bag too.
There's crypt in that little thing right there.
Yeah.
And then you've got, what is this, Sagittaria?
Yeah, dwarf sag.
Dwarf Sag, that I can use as well. So what I want to do first is actually plant. Actually, no. So a trick that I've learned is from MD Fish Tanks is for a lot of your taller stem plants, to plant them when you fill it up with water a little bit. Because if I was to plant them in now, they would droop, and it's really hard to tell what they're going to look like. So I'm going to start with the epiphytes, the Sturgeon repens, get those out, and then basically work my way up. Now, where's the Bucephalandra? I don't see the Bucephalandra. Oh, there it is. Hopefully that's still alive. So
I kept it cool.
Yeah. Yep, so that's the Bucephalandra needle leaf. It's a relatively new plant available from Tetropica. So it comes in a liquid medium.
Oh, not a gel.
Not a gel. Which is interesting because when I got in the Anubias Barterite mini coin, they had that in a gel.
Mm-hmm.
So some of their plants are in gels, but not all of them. A lot of them are in the liquid medium. Can I get a bowl or a cup of fresh water just to rinse these in?
Are you using that bucket?
This bucket?
Yeah.
No, it was just what we used to move that wood in.
So I'm gonna pour some of this. We'll sit down and pour some.
And then this is trash. Perfect. Don't need a lot.
Trash can go right there in the pile.
It's wet, so I don't
Oh,
want the
okay.
carpet getting wet. So, George Farmer's already talked about how to prepare these guys, but might as well show you guys as well. Basically, it has a little plastic film on top to allow it to breathe. We're just gonna tear that open. Once the cup is opened, it is no longer a sterile environment in here. So, whoo, that smells.
Smells?
Yeah. Let's see how this is doing. It might not be doing well. Basically, you're gonna take them out of the cup, and you're just gonna get like a little bowl of fresh water, and you just want to rinse that liquid medium out. Also, a great way to just look at the plant if you see any dead leaves or anything like that you want to take out. Definitely, you can do that. And then just trying to position this wood right here, and then probably just plop that Bucephalandra in there.
Now, since this tank does not have a CO2 injection and not a high light necessarily, should I fertilize it?
Should you fertilize it? So this tank is being set up as an easy category tank, meaning the plants are roughly easy to maintain. You don't need to fertilize, like use liquid fertilization.
Okay. Just the root tabs after a year or so.
Yeah, once, but you can with the epiphytes, you're not really keeping Java fern. I'm not going to plant Java fern in here.
Mm-hmm.
The Anubias and the Buse don't really need that much nutrients in the water column. If you do see some, deficiencies from the leaves, doesn't hurt to give a little bit of a boost.
Okay.
What liquid fertilizer do you have?
I have the Co-op Easy Green.
Co-op Easy Green. Yeah. It wouldn't hurt to, when we set it up, to just put a little, just to give them a little boost. Definitely.
Okay. Welcome in, Keith. And Shady Gritty says Greg Jones is the aquarium room designer for the giveaway. Nice.
Greg Jones.
From the NEC.
Nice. Hey, Shady, if I get a plane ticket and come over, will you host me so I can get a hold of that fish room? Because I could use a fish room. Hopefully that Buse will do fine. Scotty, you want to just make sure to keep an eye on that Buse.
Okay.
Because it was starting to go.
Okay.
But should be okay. And then this can get dumped in the sink or drain or whatever.
Yep.
And then you can toss that out. And then we've got Sturgeon Repens. So hopefully you guys can see a little bit. Nice clutch in here. So, and with stuff like these, it's a stem plant. You can easily break them down into different portions. Roughly in 1 cup of a tissue culture, you get about 4 pots worth, like the potted plants. worth the plants in here. So a great value of money, for sure. This doesn't smell that good. That's good. But yeah, these guys are really great. And so Sturgeon red bends, it's an easy category plant, usually great for the foreground area. So this is going to be used as a whatchamacallit, transition plant. So I'm going to probably plant some over here, maybe some here, around this area. But I'm going to spread it out a little bit just to give it a little bit of texture. But I'm going to, it comes out as a clump. And then I'm going to rinse it in the fresh water here. And then try my best to break it into different portions here. Remove any dead or decaying leaves as well. Okay, and then I'm going to use tweezers to plant them in. Now, some people like to wet the soil. Did I just pitch me? Wet the soil before planting in. For me, it doesn't really matter. I've planted it in dry soil and it's done perfectly fine. So it's up to your discretion what you want to do. Wow, these tweezers really got me.
He pinched himself. Can't trust him with sharp objects.
Nope. I'm prone to getting hurt. Like at work, I get cuts from I don't know how.
That's where all my band-aids go.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. You just want to push it down as much as you can. Oh, there's the one. Definitely planting perfectly fine for me here, so that's great. So the light that we're using is just a night crew light.
Very cheap on Amazon.
Yeah, pretty cheap. Fits perfectly fine. I think
It's a perfect size for that tank too.
so. It doesn't have a dimming feature,
No.
so it's the blue
Oh.
off or on, but we're gonna keep it on the white end. But definitely for this size tank with the depth and everything, should be fine for just easy to,
Yeah.
basically easy category plants. With medium category, you kind of want to maybe give it, instead of using that, maybe using the Higer, but that Higer light is a bit too wide for this. It's not going to really look nice on it, so
Right.
I decided to go with the night crew. So I'm just going to pull this apart. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, that'll work perfectly. So I just got this little clump right here that's going to go over there. And I'm actually going to cut this off because there's some roots growing on it, but that's totally fine. And then this. So because it's a stem plant, Sturgeon is a stem plant, it starts to bring out shoots from the main stem as well.
Wow.
So that's how you propagate it. You just look where the roots are coming out and you just clip it off.
Right below it.
Yeah. And you can plant it wherever you want. So if you want, when this starts to grow, you can trim them and then plant them around to make it even more bushier, which some people do.
Or put them in other tanks.
Or put them in other tanks, absolutely. Yeah, the tropic tissue culture range is guaranteed disease, pest, and algae free. So if you were to just use tissue cultures for a brand new scape, you're technically planting a sterile tank. You should not get any pests or anything like that compared to if you were to get them in potted plants.
Mm-hmm.
But at least at Atlantic Aquariums, I try to make sure that the plants that I'm shipping out don't have any algae on them or any snails or anything like that. Like right now in the planet tank, the racks, I have no snails in them.
Wow.
I have not seen any snails in them. Because when I do see some snails, I pull them right out. Okay, so I'm just going to use this last clump, and I'm debating if I should put another. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
Now, see, if I did this and I went and added water, it will all start floating on me.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, it probably will. When we do fill it, something's gonna float up.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Sturgeon Rippins red that I'm planting right now is not staying, and it could just be because there's just not enough soil. That could be the case, but I mean, I could. Can you bring that other bag of soil up? Because I might add just a little bit more here, just to get this planted in.
You may just bring up like a scoop or two, or
You can just bring up the bag.
Bring up the bag?
Yeah, and I'll just take whatever I need. It'll be easier that way. And let me see if I could. Yeah, that works. This works fine. Okay, perfect. So I just broke it down even more. I was able to get some individual stems out, so that's going to make it a little more easier for me to plant it. So I'm just going to plop that there. Hopefully, stay. Good plant. Nope, stay. Now with the crane tweezers, there's two kinds. There's these ones that are like your traditional tweezers, and then there's the other ones that are kind of like little bent, like these ones right here. Hopefully you guys can see them. I actually prefer these tweezers. I don't know. It's just easier for me to plant, especially if I'm planting plants in a tank that already has water in it. It just makes it a little easier for me to plant. But it's up to what works best for you in terms of tools. But I'm kind of getting excited to fill this up with water, just to see what the hardscape looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Cosmin says make sure you top it off with duckweed.
Nope.
And Zenny says S. Reppins hates me and uproots itself and volunteers itself for tribute to the pre-filter sponge, much like the washer tank.
No duckweed in this tank at all. I absolutely despise duckweed. Maybe you could keep some floaters on here, like the Salvinia, maybe. But I honestly think it'll be nice to not have anything on there.
I agree.
Okay, so that's the Sturgeon weapons. Do you have like a spray bottle or something I can spritz the plants so they don't dry up?
Mm-hmm. I need to bring up here anyway pretty bit.
There we go. So that should be fine. Hopefully, as the Sturgeons grow, Scotty can just trim them down and replant them. Hopefully, and it'll make it even more bushier, which will be nice. So then, what do I want to do? If I can find an Anubias species, a small Anubias species that's not attached to something. That could be cool.
There should be a really tiny Anubias in there.
Where? In there?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see one.
Nope, not that one. Nope. That's water slides.
That's employees. Then that's
That's a
this is
tissue.
the-
What? Didn't I?
That's
What did I do
Rotella.
with it?
That's Rotella macrandra. Yeah, I'm looking
Did
for
I
like
not
a
win that Anubias? I thought I did. Huh.
because I'm trying to find like a small species of Anubias that's not attached to something that I could put right in that area there. Because that one's stuck to that wood, so it's going to be a pain to take off. Do you have any Anubias downstairs?
Yes, but I think it's probably all attached. They're a little hard in there.
I mean, there's no light on here, so I can't really see.
There actually might be some in there.
I can't really see it. My phone's about to die. Oh.
Your phone's always about to die.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Nubius there, but it's a bit big.
It might be actually like floating.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Let's see here. Seller, buyer, someone report.
Do you have an iPhone charger?
Yes.
I'm just gonna plug this in.
I'll bring it.
Okay. In the meantime, I can skip the Anubias for now. There is some Sagittaria, dwarf Sag in this tank right behind you guys that I want to take some out. There's also some crypts in here. Don't know what kind, but do you know what crypt is in here?
In that?
Yeah.
No. Isn't there one in the bag too?
In the bag? Is there? I don't think there's a crypt in the bag. Is there? Nope. Yeah, Vallisneria. Got some small Vallisneria that I don't know if I want to put in here. Maybe. I don't know. Vallisneria is an easy category plant for sure, but got some dwarf sage, which is definitely going to grow very tall. I mean, it's already this big.
How about Pogostem erectus?
Ooh, Pogostem erectus. That's a.
I have some of that floating in one of the tanks right now.
Pogostem erectus, I think, is medium category. Easy medium category. Do you remember what category it was?
Nope.
I'll look into it. But where did the tweezers go? Oh, there
There's your charger.
Sweet. And then where do I want to put this? I'll put this in the front here. And I'm gonna put maybe one or two more strands. And then probably take some of that cricked out, plant that, and hopefully it won't melt.
If you plug into the white one, it will go faster.
Here, so I don't step on you. So that's the runner it sends out. So that's not a root, but the runner for the baby plants. Get that in there. What's in there? I'm gonna pull this out. Oh wow! Wow! Oh, I'm a kid in a candy store. And I see some bucephalandra in there too, which is cool. Hang on, I need to show the screen this. Like, look at. Hang on, can you guys see? No, you guys can't really see. But, hang on, let me put it. Hopefully, you guys can see, but look at that.
No, turn this way a little bit. There you go. Now they can.
Like, look at that. Alright, what do we got here?
Everything's labeled.
So, that's bucephalandra. That's also bucephalandra.
Welcome in, Craig.
So I'm going to take this. This is bucephalandra Bucket Clem. It used to be called Wavy Green, but they've renamed it. So it's actually, the leaves are starting to turn a little yellow, so we'll take those off. And we can plant that right in here, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll just shove it in here. It's a little bigger than the needle leaf, so should be fine. And then I still want Anubias. So you've got Alternanthera here. That's Rotala macrandra. That's Ceregon repens. What is that? There's another plant in here that's like a pinky color.
There's a couple alternanthers in there, different types.
Okay. What's this? This plant here, the one with the interesting leaves.
It's labeled. Everything's labeled.
I'm gonna find it. Oh, there it is. What is it? Oh, the ranunculus. Okay. let's try that. Why not? The question is, how do I take it out?
Welcome in Antarip 20. That's a new name. Welcome in.
So this is the ranunculus. So I'm gonna plant this somewhere. Let's try it here. I love how the ranunculus is put out runners too.
Bit out of control.
Yeah. So let's... Ooh, a lot of roots there. Come on. So I'm going to trim these roots down a little bit to encourage it to grow more. So this is ranunculus inundatus. It's technically almost like a carpeting plant in a way, but in Scotty's immersed setup, it's been growing tall.
Scuba Steve-O, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, Scuba Steve. Let's use this alternate. Let's see how this does.
Mark from Powell's Aquatics is here. Welcome in, sir.
Welcome.
Usama was admiring the male spotless Australia that I got from you down in the fish room.
Gorgeous fish.
Welcome in, Homer. Zenny forgot to hit the thumbs up.
Tisk tisk Zen. Tisk tisk.
Now, I've never gone from immersed to submersed. So, what are your thoughts on that whole process?
So, depends on the plant species. So, like, I'm curious to see how this alternanthera is going to do. If you've been keeping them in pretty humid conditions, it's almost as if they were in water to an extent. So they should be okay. I would just keep an eye out on it. If you start seeing significant melting and they're just not doing well, just yank them out before they foul the water. But I do want to put some color in here. And Alternanthera Renekii, to an extent, is a easy medium category plant. So I think it'll do okay because where I'm planting it and when we move the light to like the middle area, it is getting good enough lighting.
Okay.
So it should do okay. Another thing you can always do, because there's really not a lot of plants in the front and it's mostly your like low light plants anyway, if you need to, you can kind of move the light to the back a little bit more. So that way the plants in the back are getting most of that
attention.
light. Yep. And it's still lighting the light. You're getting good enough light everywhere. It doesn't, in terms of shadowing, it's not that much difference.
Right.
And you should be fine, really. Oh, did you get the spray? There it is. So I'm just gonna spray. And if you notice, as I'm starting to spray, the color of the rocks is starting to change. So with plants, you definitely do not want to dry them out, especially plants that have been in water, because their cell structure is now so fragile that if they dry out, the cells actually burst, and you'll end up killing it. So you definitely want to make sure that you're spritzing them.
Craig says, my best week on YouTube ever this week. I've had 30,000 live views, 300 subs, and shot loads of watch hours. People must want to see me move. Yes, indeed. And Zenny says, Alternanthera has always done poorly for me, but it was in deep tanks, and I think par dissolution was the problem, so maybe better in a shallow tank. I have had poor luck with it in tanks, but I'm having great luck with it in the immersed bin.
Yeah, like this is growth from the immersed setup.
Yeah.
With Alternanthera, it's with any type of red plant, you definitely want to make sure it's getting good enough lighting. Good enough lighting, CO2, definitely I encourage it. But it's mostly the lighting, really. So if you know for a fact that you just don't have that good par with your lighting, but you really want to keep Alternanthera, I would recommend getting lighting that is powerful enough. Because depending on how deep your tank is, determines how powerful of a light you need to make sure that the par that it needs is getting all the way to the bottom. Because another thing is if a plant is not getting good enough lighting, it's going to grow very leggy, trying to bring its leaves all the way up. So it's getting a lot of plants. So a lot of the leaves on the bottom are it's going to look really leggy in a way. Whereas if you were to plant or if you were to have lighting that's pretty powerful, that's getting all the way to the bottom, the plants will be in a way a little more bushier, a little more fully growing, and beautiful, basically.
Oh, Diane has a good idea. I float my immersed plants in baskets close to light so they slowly get used to being in deeper water. Okay, that's a good idea.
That's interesting. I never heard of that.
It's a good idea, though. Maybe like a breeder basket.
Yeah. Because there's really not a lot of selection of stems here. But
Well, you still got the, isn't there another one that you gave me? Still?
what? Well, that's Rotala. That's an advanced category plant. I would not.
I thought there was another in a bag.
Nymphoides?
No, that's for the bigger tank.
Yeah.
What's that other one in the bag? Not the dropper fern. Towards the front.
This? That's Valsinaria.
Oh, okay. And what's the other one in?
That's water sprite.
And that.
That's
No,
shower fern.
That one.
That's Anubias congensis,
Oh.
which is a great species of Anubia, but it's too big for this setup.
Dixon Designs, welcome in.
Hey, Dixon. What about that tank that had your old CO2 tank?
Mhm.
Where's that?
Downstairs.
Okay. And you said that the plants are still looking good in there?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see what's in there that I can use because I think the plants that I was thinking of, the Rotala species, or Ludwigia
Yeah, that
species.
has a lot of
Yeah.
Rotala.
I get Ludwigia and Rotala species mixed up all the time. I need to brush up on those two, but there are definitely a few plants that I've seen in your old CO2 setup that I would want to see if I can take some sprigs out of there. Okay, that's enough of the Alternanthera. Then let me just spritz it one more time.
That spray bottle, by the way, is compliments of the Mid-Atlantic Carnivorous Plant Society.
There's their logo right there. Are they coming again this year to Clash?
To be determined.
Interesting.
I actually, Josh was our speaker on Saturday, and he's got to look into it.
Gotcha. I'm not looking on camera. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
pretty good.
Would you mind showing me where that CO2
Mhm.
setup is?
Can I get an audio check, please? We are running downstairs to the fish room real quick. And no, you don't get to see it yet. Almost there.
Okay. bit of Nubius. I don't know if you guys could hear it downstairs, but Nubius barteri or Nubius barteri nana. Can you see? Probably can't see. Sorry, the lighting isn't really that good, but that's what it looks like. So that I'm going to first rinse in a little bit of water. That's dirty now. And then I'm going to cut some of the roots off. Or not. I'm going to use the scissors. Where's the scissors? Got some curving scissors here. So one of the things with cutting the roots is it allows you to, it allows the plant to regrow newer roots, stronger root structure, and more healthier leaves. So, now another thing that you always want to make sure to do is, if you look here, you've got some leaves that have holes in them and things like that, probably from like, snails or something chewing on it, or whatever the case might be.
The flagfish.
The flagfish, yep. So I'm actually going to take those off because what happens is with damaged leaves, the plant is using a lot of energy to try and repair it. Whereas if you take them off, the plant is then going to use up energy to create newer, healthier leaves. So, then that is going to go perfectly.
Oh, wow.
Right in there. Look at that. It's like it was meant to go there, guys.
As long as it stays.
As long as it stays. It'll root in. I just jammed it in there, but it should just root in there. But I like that. I like that. That's good. Okay. And then we found
Rotella.
not Rotella, actually.
Ludwigia.
Ludwigia. Ludwigia rubens. Ludwigia rubens, I think, because I had this plant as well from Tropica. If you guys can see it right there. But easy to medium category, so definitely a contender in here. I knew Scotty had it, and I wanted to use it in here. So this is also going to go in the back there, and I'm going to try and clump at least 2 stems together and plant it in here. A little bit spread apart, so I want to give them some room. That way, as they grow, Scotty, when you trim them, you'll have some room to replant them in.
Perfect.
So that way they'll be a little bit more bushier and more filled in.
Yeah.
So initially, when you're planting a brand new tank, unless you've got a lot of plants, you're not going to be able to fill it all in. You just hope that the plants will grow in enough, quickly enough, that you can then trim them and.
Also, Sam, as a heads up, we have 40 minutes.
Gotcha. Should be done by then.
I hope so. Because then it's bite your plants.
Oh yeah. Definitely don't want to miss that.
I like the different colors. There's a lot of different colors. You got the sand, you got the green, you got the pink, you got a little bit of red, you got the black.
I'm trying to make it make sense, but also give it a little pop of color.
Yeah.
Usually you would have a lot of greens in the back and reds more in the front a little bit, which I'll probably do here. I might add a bit more dwarf sage in the back.
Okay.
So that alternator there can be like your foreground red plant with some green in the back. I think it'll look really nice. Is that yeah. So there's also that crypt that I might plant in as well. I'm gonna cover that back up. Actually, let me spray it.
Yeah, it needs a really good spray. I'll do that.
grab some more of the dwarf sag here. Maybe. Sorry.
I am really impressed with how this immersed bin is doing, and I'm excited to do a bigger one now.
For sure. Now with the dwarf sag, I don't have to really plant a lot in because in a couple of
It will
weeks
take over.
it will just. And I would recommend just keeping up on it to so that way it still looks coherent a little bit because it will definitely take over any space it could find. I might get another one or two plantlets. Plant that as well.
And I think the rock work and the driftwood and stuff will help with some of the critters that we're about to add.
Yes, for sure. Now, are you going to put the fish in immediately, or are you going to wait to let it cycle first? Because this is a brand new tank with
I should wait a little bit.
Yes. Because if you had a filter that had some form of media, seasoned media that I could plop into the chamber, you would have been fine.
We could squeeze that sponge filter into it.
Yeah, that's going to be.
I'll still wait a few days. But
Yeah, I would just let it run maybe a couple of days, and then plop in some fish in. Maybe add some beneficial bacteria if you have it.
Yeah, I do.
Just to seed it up, and it should do fine.
That's what I mean by squeezing a little bit of sponge filter gravy into it.
Mm. Bottled bacteria is a little cleaner.
I got that too.
Come on, man. There we go. As much as I like sag, I also hate working with it because it is really hard to pull it out because it's all intertwined.
Yeah, Nathan says it. Yes, it will. I wanted some dwarf sag in a 5 cube, and it pushed out the stems, and eventually was the only thing really growing.
That's a snail right there.
Oh, there's snails. I'm not against snails like you.
I mean, try this. I have no issues with snails. I just hate pest snails.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm a Nerite snail guy.
Yeah.
I
did. I guess I still do. Diane says, make it a shrimp tank. That's what I'm thinking.
So, I mean, do you want to talk about what's going on?
Yeah, I guess I will. So, I have I think it's 2 pairs or a trio of an Endler that is a beautiful Endler that I got from Lyman from Silver Moon. And then I have some red cherries and tangerine tigers that I want to put in here as well.
What is that? Oh, that was attached to that too. Gently. Are you not going to come out? Oh. Oh, that's fine. That'll work. So I've got this crypt here, which is not a stem, but a rosette plant. And I am going to plot this guy right over here, and then hopefully as it grows, it'll spread a little bit, so it might fill in that area. In terms of what kind of crypt it is, I have no idea. Can't really tell. But hopefully we'll do well.
Jenna, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Jenna says, Scotty, you're a man. Does Chicago mean yes or no? What in the world are you talking about?
Jenna, my dear friend, I've noticed that, Scotty doesn't really keep up with chat as much, so you gotta give some context here.
Chicago?
Chicago? As in the city of Chicago?
And Diane and Zen are laughing at her, so.
So there's something going on that you probably missed.
It's not in the chat. I've paid attention to the chat.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, to be fair, chat has been very weird of people not being able to see everything. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I know for the McStreamy, there are times where I think that I was the first person to name a fish, and apparently I wasn't. And I become Mr. Cranky Pants. Do I want to use that one too? I'll keep that in there. All right. So I think. What do you think, Scotty?
Let's add some water.
All right.
Or a filter. Or both.
Let's talk about the filter. Why not? Get the filter open. So Scotty's plan was to use a sponge filter in here. Now, Chad, you tell me. Do you think a sponge filter would work really well in here? But because it is a beautiful display tank, a beautiful rimless tank, I encourage Scotty to get just a little tiny hang-on back filter. One, it'll give you some great filtration, make sure the tank is clear enough, but also give you some more water flow. Why did they pack it upside down? That's instructions. I'm actually somebody that likes to read the instructions, so I know what I'm doing.
Dixon Design says you have given me some great ideas for my next tank setup.
Oh.
Jenna says I asked a yes or no question, and the response was Chicago.
So this is the filter. So it's a pretty tiny little filter, perfect for this size of tank. It comes with, if I can pop the lid open somehow. There we go.
And the nice thing with this tank also is it's not going to have a heavy bioload by any means.
No. So this size of filter is perfectly fine. It's actually, it's not the exact filter I sent Scotty the link of, but it's definitely going to work fine. So this is the intake. This is where water goes in from. Right on here, right on top of here, is a lever to control the water flow. So you can, if it's too much of a flow, you can decrease it. If it's not enough flow, you can increase it like that. I'm gonna put it on the. I'm actually gonna reduce it just a little bit because the plants are not anchored in, so I don't want them to float around. So basically, motor right here, motor's on the outside, which means we'll have to fill this up with water and prime it, and it should work perfectly fine. But there are hang-on bags like the Marineland penguins, which the motor is on the inside, so you don't technically have to prime it. And then water goes from here, and then there's a little notch right there, which then pushes water through here, and then in this area, which Scotty, you can actually modify if you have like a bigger size sponge that can fit the entire of that compartment. That's even better. But you can put it in later.
Okay.
But what it comes with is just a little tiny sponge with a little cartridge that'll obviously have the activated carbon. I'm actually going to rinse that out because the carbon can release some dust. But once the cartridge is like done, you can toss it out. You don't really need it because you can then replace it with a bigger sponge that'll fit in here, and then all you have to do is just pull it out, rinse it in aquarium water, plop it back in. Yeah. So that's the main thingamabobber, and that's gonna go right here, and then.
How long is that cord?
Good question. We'll find out soon enough. And then in this little goodie bag, we have a pre-filter for the intake. So because Scotty's going to be putting shrimp in here, we are going to use this so the baby shrimp don't get sucked up. And then these are the strainer. If I can get it in, that's the strainer. And then this is the little tab that is going to fit on the bottom here, and this is going to keep the tank or the filter level. Kind of. And then let's open this up so we can see if it's going to be long enough. Nope. It's not going to be long enough. Do you have an extension cord?
Of course I do.
Sweet. Trying to make sure it's level, which it looks like it's level. And so now I'm going to figure out how to, like that. And that goes into that. Yep. Perfect. So that's the strainer. So it's pretty long. I'm gonna double check and see how big it is. What happened?
It's a 2-prong. That outlet over there.
So I'm gonna try and there we go. So we got that pre-filter in there. That pre-filter is also gonna make that not need to be cleaned out for a while.
I like that.
Yeah. But that means you're just gonna have to pull that little sponge off and just clean that out. It should be fine. But there we go. Hopefully you guys can see. Yep, the filter is set. And then I'm just gonna spray the tank down one more time. I'm liking it, guys. I'm liking it. I was a little nervous because I'm going to be honest with you, it has been a while since I've escaped a tank. So I'm going to just run down to the sink and rinse this down real quick. There is stuff in that sink. Is there a place I can rinse these?
How about in the white bucket?
It's dirty.
The bucket right there then. This one.
That one?
Yeah. I'm still trying to find an exception for another one.
Gotcha. Ideally, you want to rinse this in running water, but just because there is activated carbon in here, and usually it does release some powder, which can make the water a little murky. So definitely don't want that going in your tank. Just give it a quick rinse, and you should be fine. I'm gonna plop this in. The part that has the felt is going to go that way, so as it's going to be the actual filter or the actual component filtering the water out. And then this is also going to go right there. And then Scotty, the 1 gallon jugs, that's water for the tank, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to use this to put some in the filter. And then I'm trying to see if there's a way to put something in there to not screw.
What if you put the jugs up on the stool, on the chair, and use an airline?
Ooh, siphon. I like that. You know what? I'm actually going to take this out for a second.
The next thing you're going to want is an airline. Okay. There's an extension cord. I got that.
Not mean to do that.
Where am I at? There's mine.
Okay, so filled it up. Pop this back in here. And then I'm going to grab a towel because there is some water on the cord, which is a no-no. What do you guys think of the scape so far? Let me know. Would love your guys' input. Because like I said, it's been a while since I've escaped a tank, and I don't think it looks half bad. Could definitely be better for sure, but hopefully, you know, Scotty will take good care of it, trim the plants and replant them to fill them up. And I'm going to put this back on. Go. So there's enough water in there that hopefully it'll prime it. And then Scotty, you can actually toss this. I'm gonna move this here so you can plant that in your immerse setup.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff can be tossed out.
Okay. Let's do it on the table. Okay.
And then I'm gonna plop this here. Take that. I'm gonna plug in this. Normally,
Let's see here. How do I want to do this? Let's do this into this.
so because the sand wasn't really rinsed, and also obviously with the aquarium soil, it is going to be a little bit cloudy. But hopefully that hang-on filter, once it starts running, within like a couple of hours, this tank will be cleared for sure. We're using a siphon to just slowly trickle the water in so that it's not going to move or shift anything. But pretty excited to see how it's going to look with water, because it's definitely going to be a different color scheme for sure. Don't plug it in yet.
I just want to make sure it reaches. Oh Lord.
It's not.
And yep.
Okay. And I'm holding onto the hose or the air line. I just have it on the pebble, and that pebble is going to help buffer the water as well, so it's not just it's diffusing the water. If that makes sense. Oh, the water's not that cloudy.
No, it's not bad at all.
No, definitely not. That's good. Yeah, I did say to put in chat what they thought of the scape. If you want to see if anybody
Let's look.
said anything.
Dixon Designs ordered a little hang on the back for a 3-gallon from AliExpress.
Cool.
She also says it's looking very nice.
Nice. Thank you.
Nathan says, also I put Dwarf Sage in a 20, and it's pretty much all that is in that tank sound. I like the look, though, as much as short and some is tall. Then he says, cord and air tube management is still the ugliest part of the hobby for me. I just can't be neat. I end up with stuff showing everywhere. Yep.
You need to look at how people in the saltwater world have been able to manage their cords. It is like a dream come true, where you're like, gosh, I wish I could manage my cords as well as they do now.
Zenny says, I think it looks pretty darn good.
Cool.
Nathan says it sucks because it's not at my house. Just kidding, it's looking great. Diane says it looks good.
Well, if anybody wants a tank scape by me, just pay for the fare. I'll come over.
Yeah. Nathan says, I missed it as I was mowing my lawn, but what size tank is it? It's a, what do we say, 7.4 or something like that?
7.4, 7.8, something
Yeah.
along the lines of that. It's a SR aquaristic, low iron, glass rimless tank.
Nathan says, what fish and shrimp are getting going in? It's going to be it's either a trio or 2 pairs of endlers.
I think it was 2 pairs.
2 pairs?
Yeah.
2 pairs of endlers and some tangerine tigers and some red cherry shrimp. Matt has finally joined us. Welcome in, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
And he thinks that dogs are great. I agree.
I have no opinions of that. So we have 3 gallons, and then we have that.
And Laura is just now showing up. Welcome in, Laura.
Hey, Laura.
We got 15 minutes, roughly.
Gotcha. Sure, it'll almost be done.
Mm-hmm.
We're just filling it up with water, really.
And then plugging it in.
Yeah.
And Matt says, I've been here since a few minutes after you started. Thanks for noticing. I did not notice you at all, Matt.
Probably wasn't active in chat.
He was not.
Yeah, exactly. So how the hell are we supposed to notice you? Yeah, there's gonna be some scum on the water, but
That's not bad. I mean, it looks pretty good from here.
yeah, it's just on the water surface from the soil and whatnot. But once it's running a little bit, hopefully the water agitation will help a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But then you can also, after like the second day mark, just take a little cup, just skim a little bit.
Mhm.
That'll also get you some water change done with that.
That's about as much of a water change as it's going to get.
And then you don't need to do much. I mean, if you can
Right.
get it to that much, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
You really don't need to do much maintenance on it. But as I always say, the maintenance aspect sometimes is also enjoyable to an extent, because you're just focused on making everything nice and tidy, get your mind off of things. So I'm going to take this out for a moment, and then I can just pour the remainder in. I'll pour it right on that rock, and then we can get the other. And you said this was already dechlorinated?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Laura, you'll have to watch from the beginning.
What did Laura say?
This will keep me entertained while eating supper. We're going to be stopping in about 5 to 10 minutes, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the aquascaping is done. Just gotta fill up, and then maybe Scotty can take a picture of it once it's running and show it during your
Stream.
their 7 o'clock stream.
Yeah. Matt says, Usama, has Scotty just been standing there holding a whiteboard the entire time?
Yes, Matt. Yes. Nah. Scotty's been helpful with getting me stuff I need. But he's been giving me some input of what he thinks because it is his tank. So I want to make sure that Scotty's pleased with it.
The smoother rocks towards the front of the sand look really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I can already picture some shrimp standing on them.
That's the thing is like with the lighter colors,
Mhm.
it's really going to. Are you starting to float? No, don't float. God dang.
You want to put a rock on top of it?
Yeah. If there's like a small.
How about this guy?
Yeah, that should be fine for now. And then we can take it off later.
Or you can put it on the back of it.
Yeah. Stand by. That's annoying because it is waterlogged, so I don't get why it's floating. But that's wood for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Buse has also popped up.
Mm. You need one more?
No.
You're going to say I'm crazy for this, but I kind of like it sticking up in the front.
All right. Well, we'll keep it there for now.
Is it going to float, or is it going to stay there?
That's what I'm concerned. Is I think it's gonna just float because even though.
So if you put that rock on top of it in the back where the other rocks are, will it hold it in place?
Yeah.
Just like that.
The beautiful lander is. It's tilting back. That's the problem. I want it tilting back. Alright, that's fine.
Oh!
No! You stinky poo poo. Stay.
You need a bigger rock.
No, don't need a bigger. Oh, son of a monkey's uncle. Frick. Okay. Should have glued you.
There you go.
Alright. Stay. But now I can't put the piece of philander anywhere. Come on.
Nope. You might as well just dump the rest of it to that one.
That's what I'm going to do. It's that initial pour that you usually want to be careful of, but now I can just gently. So the abuse we'll have to figure out, because what I would just say is once the wood is waterlogged and it's not floating, you can plop the bucephalandra in. In the meantime, I'll find a different place to put them in. But that's really annoying.
That Anubius looks perfect where it is.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes you'll start seeing dead leaves floating up.
Yeah.
So you can easily take those out. And then once it's run a little bit and cleared out, then according to the instructions, you can add some of the Easy Green in fertilizer just to give the plants a little boost.
Diane wants me to put the camera in the front to see a front view.
Would make sense.
Yeah. It's not cloudy at all.
No, not really. Once the stem plants grow more and fill that back a little bit, you'll get a better idea of the depth of it. I wonder if I do that, would it make it go faster? Yes, it would. Okay. Physics, baby.
And Dixon Designs and Frogs Fish and More say very nice.
Sweet. Thank you.
Laura for Pittsburgh Club needs to do a fish, Batis or Gudgeon for miscellaneous. I have Batis, but I've had Gudgeons in the past, and
Peacock gudgeons.
yeah, I like the peacock Gudgeons. That's what I had. Better.
So here's a funny story about the peacock gudgeon. I was at PetSmart, and in one of their tanks, they had peacock gudgeons. At the there was no label, and I could not figure out what they were called. I knew it was on the tip of my tongue, and I couldn't figure out what they were. And I actually got the store manager involved to try and figure out what they were because there was no label or anything. And then I actually looked up Pectec's video because when he built that steampunk tank, Rachel O'Leary gave him some peacock gudgeons to put in it. And that's where I remember those fish from. So I had to search that video up and speed through it to see where he says what they were, and it was peacock gudgeons. That's it, peacock gudgeons. And then the store manager was like, "Thank you." I was like, "You're welcome."
The camera's blocking the camera. Or the bucket's blocking the camera. But it's okay because I'm going to actually run upstairs and play the outro because it's time to go over to Wet Your Plants.
Woohoo! Thank you guys.
Thank you, Sama.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Sama. Please don't forget to check out AtlanticAquariums.com and head over to Wet Your Plants. If a mod could drop that link as well, please.